Ramble.
Thank you to Rosetta Stone for sponsoring today's episode.
Welcome to The Plog. If you hear noise in the world, it's because we're filming in the middle of the office. We have cleared out the office for our Romeo and Juliet live stream. Oh, hey, Rainie.
Rainie's almost here.
Sorry, Rainie was having a snack.
I'm also having a snack. I'm having this generic peanut butter chocolate wafer thing, which is honestly delicious.
Yeah,
It's a Nutty Bar.
You can't
Is
keep
it?
saying it and expect me to not. I need a bite now. I need to know.
Now, Nutty Bars are something I would save up my allowance to have when I was a young boy. I'd bicycle down to the corner store and have a box full of Nutty Bars for my delight.
Were you born in 1932?
I was.
They were only a nickel.
That's right.
Do you think that's in the frame?
You know,
Looking
I
good.
could eat 12 of these.
So,
It's
I
looking
mean,
nice.
yeah, you can fix the light. Yeah.
I'm talking to this guy.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking to me? Sorry,
Yeah.
you said this guy.
That
you
man-
pointed at me.
The white guy with the glasses.
I mean, that you got to be
And
more
I have more-
specific. That's too bad.
White guy, tall with glasses.
You're trying to fix one of the lights up there? Well, here's a question, Eugene.
I'm not
Sorry, here's a question,
I'm
spooky
Joe.
little mechanic.
I'm Mechanic Joe.
Now, you've also been cast in the show that we're about to be doing here. And it's sort
Mechanic Joe and his never turning off light bulb.
That's right. Mechanic Joe
Is that the
and
best
his
character name
turning
you
and
can
his
come up with?
never turning off.
We promise that the performances in Romeo and Juliet will be as
least
good
this
as
good,
this.
yeah.
At least.
I'm just wondering if you could tell if this light is fixed. My one weakness is I can't
Yeah,
tell if
it
lights
is
are on or not.
Yeah, it is
That's
on.
not a good weakness to
I
have
don't know
with your
how I
character
became an
name.
electrician, but that's why I'm Mechanic Joe. Honestly, I don't know why I'm here, Rainie. I don't know what I'm doing.
Mechanic
to
Joe
turn on the audience
ladder.
Hell yeah.
Because we have a live studio audience that, much like the Romeo and Juliet, I mean, we're really selling it at this point, but much like the Romeo and Juliet live audience will be the audience of our staff that's working diligently, silently, while we have wasted their time with this.
Yeah. I told Eugene that it would be,
Lion Ladder
he should
Larry.
say hi to the beginning of the podcast before he leaves, and I broke him.
Yeah, sometimes you just see a ladder, you gotta climb it, and you gotta fucking construct some falsehoods. You know what I mean?
The last time the audience for the podcast saw you were in your home, hot off of a big movie, and now you're Ladder Larry.
Lion Ladder Larry.
Lion Ladder Larry.
Ladder
Yeah.
Larry.
That's right.
Preparing. This is part of the preparation for Romeo and Juliet Live.
That's right.
You can see a lot more Lion Ladder Larry.
Yeah, he's a big part of the show.
He's a huge part.
Because how else are people going to learn how to fix this light?
I mean, the light's on, I guess, right?
Y'all know OSHA?
I've heard of her.
Yeah, that's my mother. What you got to say? It's my mother.
OSHA's your mother. Jeez.
Yeah, you know what they call it, an OSHA violation.
Oh, I don't want to know. I don't want to know why it's called an OSHA violation if it's your mother.
Well, it sounds like you know a lot about it, Keith.
Yeah.
So Lionel Ladder.
Yeah. It's hard to talk to Lion Ladder Larry. He's all full of lies.
You know what? No, keep going with your little trot. It's all good.
Okay.
Just do your thing.
Keep going with our trod.
You know he tries to call it a trog.
Trog.
Yeah.
Travel
pod. It really doesn't
trod.
make any sense. Trod.
Travel
Travel podcast.
Travel pod.
Trod.
Trod.
Instead of plog, which we've coined and licensed. And
Trod plog.
Freaking
Plod
Do we
trod.
own?
should.
Does
We should
anyone
get
own
a patent.
plog.com?
Plog.com.
I don't think it's going to be a good website.
You guys,
It's
It's
open.
available.
plog.com redirects to Amazon.
Huh.
What could
Why?
why could they possibly have wanted that domain?
Plog.com.
Purchase
We're on to
lots of
something.
goods.
This is we're on the case.
Purchase lots of goods.com.
Purchaselotsofgoods.com.
That kind of sounds like you got to rename it to the Trod.
Okay, look up trod.com.
Look up Trod, see what it is. That's got to be a porn site as well, though.
Yeah.
Why do you think all these are porn sites? This goes to
That one's available.
That's available.
Oh wow.
Trod is available? Okay, Eugene just dropped the mic.
Thank
If you're an audio-only listener, you may have heard something happen, and it was Eugene dropping the mic.
If you're an audio-only listener, I'm sure if this is especially confusing, Lying Ladder Larry, it would be quite the tough character to understand without a visual.
So, we have a Romeo and Juliet live stream coming up today. If you're watching this on the day that it releases tonight, we have our very special live stream. You can watch it at tryguys.com/Romeo. It's a very cool ticketed event, and you're hearing this a week in advance. We've cleared out our entire office. I'm gonna fuck up the camera. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Cameraman Corey.
Cautious camera fan Corey, of course.
Very cautious.
Here I come cautiously.
Yeah, he's coming cautiously.
Cautiously.
We're
So
doing Romeo and Juliet. We're building a set in our office, so all the desks are gone, and we are building this big old set right now.
Land of curtains.
Land of
Land
curtains.
of curtains.
Yes.
Cautious cameraman.
I, for
Curtis?
one, am
Is that what
curious
we're-
to see.
Corey?
So, what are some of the premise of the idea is that you guys are doing Romeo and Jelly, Romeo
and jelly. It's a delicious sandwich.
Delicious, Sammy.
That's
Two
pretty good.
That's
toppings,
not
both
bad.
alike in deliciousness.
So the idea is that the audience is going to vote on wacky, wild things for you to do that are going to affect the show.
Right.
Now, what's one of them? Getting pissed drunk or something?
Well, actually, there are a couple of moments where alcohol could be something you vote into the show.
Wow.
Really?
Well, we have a lot of variables that can be artistically chosen. Like Juliet takes poison, right? So
Yeah.
what is the poison? Is it hot sauce? Is
big
it alcohol?
edible?
Is it NyQuil? One of them, because she does take a sleeping potion. It's like, well, that is a sleeping potion. So we have a lot of really fun things you can vote on. Some of these things are going to be props that are little. Some of these things are going to be like improv game layers to the scene. So like the entire scene scope and the physicality of the scene could be affected. Some of it might even be changing characters in a scene or changing outfits throughout the scene. So it's very silly. However, outside of those silly elements, we're trying to do like true Shakespeare. We're trying to play it very straight while the world is sort of crumbling around us from the audience's choices.
Yeah, it's like, how do we gamify one of the most classic stories that ever was? So we have this incredible ensemble around us of professional actors, people who do
Shakespeare actors. Yeah, people who are members of
actors.
Shakespeare companies here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the first read through, I was like still trying to understand the language, and they came blaring out of the cannon.
I mean, I will say, I just saw you about 10 minutes ago, head in hand, bent over your desk, stressed out. And Keith walked in and went, well, so what this represents, what this is actually, like you guys were doing character work, and I haven't seen you that stressed out in a long time.
I appreciate that.
Well, it's interesting because my temperature check right now is the energy is very joyous. You guys are very like
fun.
excited to be live. Is this like, is it related to Romeo or is it related?
The theater.
We're over a week away from it, right?
Yeah.
So we haven't like fully entered the intense stress of like, oh God, I don't know my lines, whatever. Eugene is stressed.
Oh my
himself.
God,
is
you make
new,
everything
putting on
look
an outfit.
good. Look at that.
Eugene somehow used a scarf and became better looking than I've ever fucking looked.
Yeah.
This is a curtain.
Is it
Is it a cur-
seen my scarf?
Jesus.
A new character.
You're
and
wearing-
it's really unclear.
You're wearing it.
He's wearing it.
It's me, Scatterbrain Sally.
Such a left field character.
Find my scarf.
Oh my God. It's so hard to stay on track.
Lost man's feet. Oh goodness. Oh, my scarf. Oh, I've done it again, Scatterbrain.
Eugene said, I don't have time to be in the podcast today. I have so many lines to memorize. Which he does.
Well, it's Eugene hasn't been in the podcast. It's just been various characters from the canon.
Yeah, I know. I'm just telling you why Eugene's not here.
Yeah, I mean, look, we are basically taking 2 weeks off of work to just play theater, and
Eugene is creeping around like a little, like peeping
Mouse.
Tom, pretty much.
this is the least effective podcast we've done and the best plug we've done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we've taken 2 weeks off of work, and all we are doing is just theater camp. Right?
Yeah.
Every day we're coming in, we're running scenes, we are diving into, I have my binder right here.
Oh, theater camp. There's just something so nostalgic about
So
that.
did you
go to theater camp?
I went to theater camp. Did you?
Which
Of
one did you
course.
go to?
I went to Stanley British Primary.
Keith, did you go to Stanley Bridge Primary?
No, in high school I was too much of a band nerd. I went to music camps,
you
but
went
I
to
never
music,
got.
went to band camps.
Well, no, I went to music camps.
Okay.
Whoa.
I did go to band camp as well, but there is a difference. I went to a chamber music camp where it was like only small ensembles, like quintets, quartets, stuff like that.
Oh,
I
quartet, I
went
could see you
to,
doing that.
but I went to one really month-long camp that did have a theater division, but I was in the band. division.
Sleepaway?
Yeah, it was
Did
a
you
month long.
do? Wow.
Brave boy.
It was cool.
I never slept away.
You did it?
Not because I was too nervous, because I totally wasn't. but because because
they made all the campers wear shoes, and you were like, nah.
no, I went to
Sorry, do you guys not have a barista here at camp?
Yeah, I'm out. My daddy's my own barista. No, I never did sleepaway camp. I think just like, I don't know. My parents were teachers, so during the summers, they had lots of time. And so I think a lot of people go to camp because it's like, okay, you're available. Send the kids to camp so they have something to do.
Yeah.
But we were kind of, my parents, we would like go on little trips and stuff. I went to a day movie makers camp where I basically did theater, but it was on camera.
And it was for one day.
Oh, it was during the day, right?
Oh, it was a day.
It was
camp.
the whole
That was a
week
day
long,
camp.
and I went to all 3 weeks of it.
And do you make a movie?
Well, yeah.
Well,
It was
you
parody movies.
Funny.
So I was in a parody of the Blair Witch
Very good.
project.
What was yours called?
I don't remember.
We've all done the Blair Witch parody.
But in a way, it was a parody, but it was like, there wasn't really anything funny about it. It was just sort of like,
Sort of a shitty knockoff.
yeah, it was like very much more a knockoff. Like I'm trying to be like, there wasn't a big joke about it.
The hairy bitch project.
Yeah, my parents are like, this is what we sent you to middle school.
This cost a lot.
I
The
know.
worst one I did at film camp was, so like we had like the filmmaker camp and then the acting camp connected, right? So I was in the filmmaker camp and one of the kids could tap dance. And I'm like, I got to do something with this.
A documentary.
What can I do with this? And Spider-Man 2 had just come out. So I made Tap Man, which was a superhero epic about a guy who gets radioactive tap dancing shoes.
That's great.
And it wasn't.
Well.
It was beat for beat Spider-Man 2 crammed into 11 minutes.
Nice.
Doc Ock.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good one.
Doc Tap.
In 7th grade, I did all 7 of the Lord of the Rings books in a 40-minute play. And there were multiple Frodos because everybody
You didn't
wanted to
write
be it.
this.
No, I think like the drama director did.
What do you mean which 7 Lord of the Rings
How many are
books?
there?
Three.
4 if you count The Hobbit.
Well, there's 2 towers.
Yeah.
I thought there were 7.
There's 7 rings given to
Maybe that was it.
I'm glad you
It was the 7 rings that was throwing you off.
There
Was
are
the
7
lore
rings at some
specific?
point, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's down to 7 characters after it starts with the 11, right?
Yeah, I
The
guess.
Fellowship.
I don't know the story well enough, but I wish I
You
did.
don't?
No, I'm sorry. I know it's really
I could see you being
Miles?
really into
I know, Keith. I know it's something that I probably
Miles?
should have researched more because I think I like a lot of adjacent
It's
stuff
not
to it.
research. It's entertainment. It's
I
a
know,
fucking
it's important to
trilogy
you.
that people love, that I love. I've seen The Two Towers probably, and I'm not even kidding, 90 times.
Because I know that on Lou Burger Tour, you guys would put it on to fall asleep, which is
Yeah.
really cute.
It's
and I
really
love
cute,
that.
and it is. I just love it. Someday I'll make a musical adaptation of just The Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, and it's
Wow.
going to be called Towers.
love that.
Yeah, I have the whole thing mapped out.
Hey, Jack's here.
I have an answer for the plugs.
Okay, here we go. So
Okay.
Jack has an answer.
Jack has an
Squad
answer.
squad.
I don't know when we
what
ask
was
a
the
question.
I'm so excited. Get in
So,
here.
I don't
Get
know.
in here.
I don't remember asking
if we all recall earlier in the podcast, we had mentioned the idea of getting the domain plog.com, and
We did. Yes, we all did.
and immediately, I mean, you can see it on the audience footage. I immediately went into research mode and I was like, why does Amazon have plog.com? It turns out in 2006, Amazon released a service called Plog. So basically, if you were to purchase a book on Amazon, you would get a plug that would show up on your homepage, which was essentially a personalized weblog of all of the author's blogs that you purchased from. So like if you buy like, let's say a James Patterson book, you then all of a sudden get your homepage on Amazon filled with James Patterson blog posts. So
I
that's
realized that's not something people want.
so then they dropped it in 2007 and they replaced it with the service called Amazon Daily, which is essentially just an RSS feed on your Amazon homepage. So,
I'm loving this, Jack. This is really interesting.
so that's why they bought the domain plog.com, because they thought, oh, blogs are going to be the next big thing. Personalized weblog. Who cares about,
Wait, what's a weblog?
a weblog is, I don't know, a bunch of data.
It's a
I think
blog.
it's a blog.
It's a blog.
Oh,
Yeah.
Honestly, Jack, this is very interesting to me, and it's so funny. But I do feel like what just happened is sort of like when you tape an episode of late night television, and then 60 Minutes was like right in the
Right in the middle. I
It's like you and I have actually an answer for your question.
I had an
Breaking
answer.
news.
And
Yeah, it was breaking.
It was in the moment, and you'll see it on the footage. I was
I honestly
passionate
bravo.
to come
Yeah.
out.
It's great.
and share that information.
This
that,
episode is full of such great characters jumping into the
Jack.
show. Jack,
We had
of course.
Ladder
Tony
Larry.
or whatever his name was.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll step out. But that's
Thank you, Jack.
That's
the info.
fascinating,
Wow.
Jack.
That actually
That's
wasn't
good
Jack.
work.
That was breaking news, Benny.
That was
So-
breaking
Breaking news,
Benny.
Benny.
I wonder if Bezos, I know you're a listener. Can
we have it?
Can we have it?
We have it.
Yeah.
We'd love
We're not
for
really
free.
using
For
it.
free.
I'll pay, below market
No,
value.
for free. Come on.
$15.
Well, let's get. I mean, he's got enough.
It's for charity. The plug is sort of a charitable experience, I think.
Yeah.
Can we? Do you think we can start a
do an ad.
campaign?
Sorry, Zach. What was that? Also, I'm like at this point, I'm waiting to see if we have another question, so that I want to see Jack jump into action.
Well,
again.
I'm sure we'll find one.
He peeked out very quickly.
One last thing on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I've heard the world building is amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's excellent. I mean, it's a huge universe. It's Middle Earth, and I'm not gonna say like, oh, you like, how dare you not see this movie? But I am surprised
Is
that
it-
you haven't
have
seen
you-
it.
I've
have you
seen
read it?
I've seen it.
But you don't know it very
Keith,
well.
but I don't know it as well as you know it. And I know that like I probably should, because I think it's something that I could get obsessive into.
Yeah.
Knowing how I get obsessive about stuff. I mean, Zach, for example, are you interested in Lord of the Rings in a big way?
Not as much as Keith.
Well, but that's too high a bar to set.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean-
I had my moment in I'm certain I've told you, in middle school. I read Fellowship before the movie came out, and the Barnes and Noble copy came with The One Ring, and so I wore it to school
That's
every day. Yeah, and I became
dangerous.
corrupted with power, but it was that cheap metal, so it stained my finger horribly green.
That's because the One Ring is cursed. Duh. Did you see that Magic the Gathering has a Lord of the Rings thing, and they literally made a one of one, the One Ring card that somebody pulled, and Post Malone bought it for like $2.6 million.
I did see that Post Malone bought the card. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. The fact
Oh
that they
my
did that. They also made a 7 of 7 rings of they made a specific limited edition set of cards that were like the amount of rings that actually existed in the franchise. They only made that many cards. Like normally a card gets like 1,000 prints is a lot.
Yeah.
But it's actually very few.
Post
In
Malone-
like a million cards that they print.
Are you going to talk about Call Her Daddy?
No.
Oh.
Anyway, Romeo. So speaking of big, magical, fantastical worlds,
Yes.
Verona is one of those.
Oh yes, it's an imaginary
world
place.
building, yeah.
Wouldn't it be great to learn a new language, to be able to speak to someone in something other than English? Well, for me, at least, that's the only thing I can speak. But like when you go to France, don't you want to be able to ask for a baguette the way the locals do? Well, Rosetta Stone is the most trusted language learning program. It's available on desktop or as an app, and it's truly immersive, and it immerses you in the language you want to learn. It's been the trusted expert for 30 years with millions of users and 25 languages offered. There's Spanish, French, Italian, German, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Dutch, Arabic, Polish, the list goes on. There's no English translation, so you really learn to speak, listen, and think in that language. Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. For a very limited time, our listeners can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 40% off. That's $179 for unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 40% off at rosettastone.com/tryguys today.
Yeah, so we were talking about that we get to come in every day and just play theater. We've been running scenes, breaking down scenes, and our job is to try and get it as legit as possible, knowing then we're about to fuck it all up.
Like, so you don't want it to be like you half-assed it and then added silly stuff. You want
Correct.
to full-ass it and then make that interesting.
Make it harder
you know.
than it already is.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I mean, I'm playing Juliet and the prince.
What do you relate to Juliet? Like, what in you and Juliet share in common?
Not a lot right now. But all of us have been hormonal teenagers that are upset about what their parents want them to do, and they feel like, or have you ever liked somebody that even your friends don't want you to like? You know,
Have
that,
you?
Like, yeah, of course.
I
I've been
have
like
too.
that. I like that person. They're like, you can't like that person. That person sucks. I'm like, do they though?
Yeah.
Do they though?
They actually seem really cool.
So
Yeah.
it's like two families are fighting.
yeah.
Kids want to bang. That's what it is.
We've been really
Having the poster.
so like we all have this image of either bad adaptations of Romeo and Juliet or like reading it in high school or like the movies, right? And they're always I think of Romeo as this heartthrob. And even the name Romeo, like, oh, he's such a Romeo. Like,
He's
you think
such
of
a
this perfect
Romeo.
charmer lover.
Leo.
We read in this book, or this play, he whiny bitch. Oh, he whiny little bitch.
He's an emo
I
guy.
believe
He's
it.
beautiful, but he's
Yeah.
emo. He wants to write poems and
Right.
doesn't want to fight. He's like, I'm so in love. He's like, I wish I was in love.
And
Lame.
then when something sad happens to him, he's like, life is unfair.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it sort of is.
That's what I'm bringing to it.
Yeah, Zach is definitely being a sad MySpace kid. Romeo.
I mean, he is. Yeah, he's the original incel.
I don't know if I would go that far.
He's the opposite of incel. He only
Yeah.
wants love.
They're both teenagers, so.
He also definitely.
Are
yeah.
they teenagers in your rendition?
Yeah, when
yes.
you see me, you're going to think teen.
Teen guy.
You're going to think me, that's a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, I get that. As long as you're embracing the character, you're getting deep.
Yeah.
I'm very excited, though. So the reason I wanted to do it in here, we've been sidetracked by a million bits of chaos, but is to show, like, this beginning stage of what's about to become our set, right? So we cleared out everything. Our whole office, as you see on that other cam, is hanging out around little lunch tables.
A lunch table?
Yep.
What is it? Yeah. We like to call it the cafe.
We keep telling them to move in our office, but our office is dirty, so they don't want to be in there. And then, we have behind us the beginning of this chapel that's being built.
Which I really like for the audio listeners. It's really cool and very authentic
Yeah.
of a
Yeah,
church.
The plexiglass.
No, it's very cool.
Yeah, there's only a few things that aren't going to be minimalistic. Like this is like one of the bigger pieces. There's another piece that's sort of in the Juliet, the Capulet space that's kind of specific. But the rest of it's all the colors of the Capulets versus the Montagues. I know it's very
I'm
nice.
sorry, I'm laughing because Miles just kind of went up, gave it a knock, and then gave it the old nod,
yeah.
And it was like watching a dad.
Yeah, you're really
coming in,
transforming into
but I know that knock told you nothing, and you nodded as if
One of
you.
those goes through my head. I go, okay, on the way to the knock, I'm thinking, is that paper mache? And then I'm thinking, there's no fucking way it's paper mache.
And he
Knock
goes,
on it.
Yeah.
Don't know what that is. All right.
Yeah, no, that's
awesome.
good, substantial build right there.
Yeah.
That's how I
It's
would.
not going anywhere. That's
That's-
also something Dad say.
That's not going anywhere.
That's not going anywhere.
That thing is bolted to the ground tight. This tent is not blowing away in the wind. Mark my words.
Yeah, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool, and I'm excited to see you guys perform.
It's really fun, and it's challenging. I think the reason you said it's it's a very positive atmosphere. It's
Yeah.
kind of like being in a high school show. It's
Yeah.
exciting to nerd out over something you never nerd out about. I think it's easy to be like Shakespeare's hoity-toity, and I don't want to like it. Even as a comedian, I do improv and comedy acting, but Shakespeare has a lot of naturally really funny stuff. There's lots of double entendre and wordplay, and also it's exciting to start to understand something that you don't understand when you first read it.
Yeah,
it's exciting to be like, oh, I get it, even if it's not funny. The fact that you get it and it feels so intimidating feels like beating an escape room.
Yeah.
When you first see the puzzle, you're like, I don't even understand how to solve it, and then when you get it, you're like, I'm a genius. I'm a fucking genius. I feel so good about myself.
Yeah, and the hope that the show is it's really satisfying to spend so much time on one project. That's cool. All three of us are in here together every day working on this. But then also the show itself gets to be satisfying on multiple levels, right? Hopefully we deliver a good, fun Romeo and Juliet, and we help you understand language that is otherwise obtuse to you when you read it. But then even if you're like, screw the story, I just want to watch the comedy of them trying to get through while these games are trying to throw them off track. That's going to be a second layer of entertainment.
And a third layer of entertainment is that there's a backstage camera live the whole time too. So for all the people who are maybe like, man, I want to know how this is being produced, where are the quick changes happening? There will be a camera showing people
interesting.
running behind the stage, when quick.
awesome.
So you will always be able to watch that if you want to. And I feel like that's an extra literally, it's a look behind the curtain. Very fun to see the nuts and bolts of the production. The show will exist also online after. So if you buy tickets, you can watch it after. So if you did watch it, wholesale in the production, you could watch it again and sort of see what's going on behind the scenes. If you were like, how did that happen? Where did they make that decision? That's where you'll also see the props that you're voting on be kind of chosen. So you'll be like, oh, what are they going to be? And there'll be a shot of what those options are going to be. And then you'll see that what you voted on gets picked. So you're really seeing that what you do is immediately affecting the show.
That's sick. Is there going to be people live watching, or is it all streamed?
It's all streamed. I think, there won't be anyone live in here other than the crew, only because there's so little space. We're going to use the whole space to do it. And what is fun about the fact that it's filmed is it's theater, so it's being presented theatrically, but also it's filmed, so it's being presented like a movie. So some things will be like the sword fighting. That's going to be in like wide shots and it'll be very more theatrical. But maybe like the romance scene, the classic scenes are going to be like really intimate, and I'll be talking at this volume.
Yeah, we get to get really quiet.
That's really cool.
And we get to get quiet.
You can't do that.
And we get to turn our back to the quote unquote audience, because this is going to be really choreographed and filmed.
Right.
But then it also, like, the camera changes comedy, right? So Keith and I were going over the scene where Romeo and Juliet meet.
The balcony scene. Oh, and the other
No, I'm
scene.
thinking about first at the party,
that scene,
right?
Yeah.
The two pilgrims ready stand, right? It's their first kiss. And so we're like, is it funniest if we're doing like a dance while we're talking? Is it funniest if we're doing some game? Or do we get the camera so impossibly close to us and we are just like noses almost touching, speaking to each other from that distance?
Doing Shakespeare, like there's some things where it'll be like the funniest to actually treat it as not funny at all, right? If Zach and I, in our, the way we look, being incredibly earnest, is going to have this natural comedy about it. And then also there's this you'll have voted on. I think the voting for that one is, instead of kiss, what will we do?
Right.
And so there's this like you'll have know what the choice is before we do. So you'll have this like, oh, I know that whatever they're doing is going to end with either them slapping each other or something else. So it creates this tension that you normally don't get. Or I guess it gives you the tension you would have if you didn't know the show already, because everyone knows Romeo and Juliet. So this adds the tension back into the original viewing of this play. Maybe.
We have so many curtains here, and I honestly have no idea what they're for. They're all different colors.
Oh, it's the Montagues and the Capulets.
Yeah, but then there's a middle color too.
Oh, that's
so I see
fun.
different types of red curtains, but there's all these different patterns.
I think it's meant to just be theater history. Back in the day, while yes, you would see plays in theaters and actual maybe like the Rose Theater, stuff like that, there were also traveling performers who rolled up
Trogs.
like trogs.
Shit, dude. Trod.
They were traveling performers, and they would roll up in a wagon or like almost like a couple wagons. And they'd build a stage, and one of the ways they would build a stage is by whatever cheap curtains they had. They kind of hang them temporarily, and they'd perform in front of their wagon. Yeah, and they would do it in the town square. So Shakespeare it's very classic to have like a bunch of mismatched curtains, because often it was a lot of Shakespeare was for the lower class. Yeah, like the upper class would like be up in the balcony seats, but the lower class would be on the ground, and the performers were performing to the lower class, and the lower class was kind of engaging and like hooting and hollering at the
So why don't you take your little curtain question and shove it, okay? It's historically backed
This is
up.
about history.
It does match the aesthetics of Shakespeare. This is what Shakespeare looks like.
Yeah, so Keith was talking about how like the classism of it and how Shakespeare was performed to the people. And so Shakespeare shows were meant, like, they were parties. They're crass and they're filthy and they're funny, and you are performing, like, you want a turbulence of all the emotions. You want crazy comedy, you want deep heartbreak, you want love, but you would have people cheering and jeering and hooting and hollering. And so we're trying to bring that party back.
And so I'll be here cheering and jeering. And
yes. By the way, I would love, it would probably help my performance.
Yeah. And there are dick jokes all over the place in Shakespeare.
That's
even
really good.
Shakespeare is a dick joke.
No way.
Shut up.
I don't know if it's on purpose, but
It might just be his name.
but think about it. Like,
Do you think
that guy
that's his
didn't
stage
exist,
name?
right?
I don't think it's his real name. I think it's a name he made for himself.
There's a lot of weird conspiracy
theories.
theories about therapies.
Also, there's a lot of like, did he steal a lot of these plays? There's a lot of Seven.
There's a thought that Shakespeare's not actually even one person.
It's like a
Yeah.
group of people.
Yeah.
That,
a theater
It's a
company.
think tank.
It's like how
Yeah.
Zach, I'm actually a collection of
Zach's
a bunch
an idea
of.
of
Yeah,
people.
he's a bunch of bugs puppeting a skin body around like in Men in Black.
Exactly like that. Well,
yeah.
I guess I'm curious. I mean, you
Devin
guys
did not like that visual at all.
take the audience cam.
Audience cam. Gave us some hot reactions from that bit.
This is gonna be our first podcast episode with slow motion replays.
I guess I'm curious a little bit more about your theater background, specifically when you were a little child.
We little lads.
Little people. And Rainie, I'm very curious to hear about your theater camp
I really want to
experience
know
as well.
about theater camp
So we can start with you.
and who you fell in love with.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
obviously you had a camp showmance.
Of course.
Oh my gosh, Keith, I wish.
Hey, so, yeah, by the way, a showmance?
Yeah, I've never
A
heard that
showmance
phrase.
is-
I love a showman.
Showmance?
It's showmance when you are cast like as a love interest, you and I, and then we actually fall in love.
Yes, and it's also if you have a relationship that lasts the length of the show. It doesn't
show.
have to be that you're in love with the person that you're with. It's
Yeah.
just you are basically falling for each other because you're forced to spend
So
a
much
month
time.
together
Yeah.
doing the same thing, and you kind of get infatuated with each other and have a showmance.
I always had a showmance, but it was unrequited.
Same. Which way? Which direction?
No, like you think I was saying that? Like, yeah, everyone thought I was hot as fuck.
Everyone
And
tried
I
to have a
didn't-
showmance with me, but I was dedicated to the art.
No, I always was just like, holy shit. What's her name in the lead role? I'm playing
always
like
the lead,
Willard in Footloose, like Ren's friend, and it's like fuck, like I'm not a lead enough.
Did you
Thoroughly-
get relegated to being a comedic side, like a
It's
the comedy
interesting
role a
you
lot?
ask, Zach, because I was sort of the side character at first, but then I fought my way to the top. I started at Mr. Bumble in Oliver, the guy who sells Oliver Twist.
Honestly, you'd make a great Mr. Bumble.
Thank you. He has a song called "One Boy for Sale," and I sang.
Should we do Oliver Twist next?
That'd be great,
And you can reprise your role as
Mr.
Bumble.
I would love to.
Do you remember the song?
One boy for sale.
You didn't sing it that low, did you?
Going
He was in high
cheap,
school.
Only 7 pennies. Something like that.
7 fucking pennies?
They were selling this kid, yeah. And so I did Mr. Bumble.
They're
and then-
selling this fucking
Not a
kid.
good price.
No, bad Baron. And also, it's like, who's he selling the bad boy to? Who's buying little boys?
I wouldn't want to buy a boy that was so cheap.
Exactly. Raise the price.
If
maybe.
I'm buying a little boy, I want it to be at least $1.
Holy shit.
In the theater.
So basically, I was Mr. Bumble, and then I fucking fought my way to the top, and I was Captain Hook in Peter
Hell
Pan.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much.
And which was this your school theater?
This is middle school theater, yeah.
Middle school?
I was 6th grade. I was Bumble. 8th
We didn't have
grade, I was
theater.
Hook.
We didn't have theater till high school. I'm so
Oh, we
jelly.
had middle school theater.
And where'd you go
7th
from there?
Well, 9th grade, I took a break. I was retired
You're
temporarily.
like, I'll never have a better role.
Yeah, after Hook, it's hard to be like, oh, I'm in high school now and everyone hates me.
Yeah.
And then I, obviously, I was dancing the whole time. So
Wait. I just am realizing that not only was it this cool production of Oliver, you were a prepubescent 6th grader.
Oh, and I'm
singing
about
a
selling
boy for sale.
I'm a boy thinking about selling myself effectively. One boy for sale. I say, just fucking bone clean, not a hair on my body. Selling a boy. And then I danced. And then I was Willard in Footloose, Ren's friend. He sings "Mama Says." Na, 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 na. It's sort of very similar to Blackbird. So it's not Blackbird where it's Mama, whatever, that song by the Beatles. But he says something about how Mama knows best.
Blackbird singing in
And
the
then I wrote a play about zombies my junior year.
Did you perform?
I didn't perform. I was directing.
Was it a musical?
It was not. And then I was Conrad fucking Birdie in Bye Bye Birdie.
Wow.
Senior year.
Wow.
And they said, you don't even have to do the sex ed credit because we want you in the musical.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you
They relegated
So you
my
never learned how to have
Never
sex?
learned. That's what the class was. You never learned sex ed. They said, I went pulled into the teacher's office. This is so funny. I was a staff kid, so everyone knew me. But she was like, I noticed that at the same period that the musical is the only time sex ed's being offered, and you're a senior year spring semester guy. I'm going to go ahead and waive the credit. Because I want you in the musical
Wow.
as the lead. And
As
I
a lead
said,
in the musical.
Conrad.
there's no
Well,
way
Conrad
we had to be
Birdie's not
worried
the
about you
lead.
having
It's
Conrad
sex.
Birdie is the lead.
Conrad Birdie's not the lead.
Okay, basically he's the fucking lead.
It's kind of
the
like the
titular
third.
character.
He's the titular character.
It's like
a big
third
one.
build.
Yeah, the producer's the lead. Come on, Zach.
Third build.
I am. But anyway, yeah, I was counting my birdie and that felt good.
Wow.
Third build.
Okay.
And tell us about your summer in the theater.
My summer in the theater, I was King Azaz in Phantom of the Toll Booth. And it
Hilarious.
was pretty much...
Hilarious mention of a story I've fully forgotten about.
Wait, the Phantom Toll Booth?
I didn't know.
Yeah,
that was
Phantom of the Toll Booth.
No,
Phantom
the
Toll
Phantom
Booth.
Toll
The
Booth.
Phantom
You're
Toll
thinking
Booth.
Phantom of the Opera?
The Phantom of the Toll Booth's here. Please pay the toll.
Phantom Toll Booth was a book. I didn't know they made a show.
It's probably one of those where like the school adapts it into a play. Or I bet every single book has been adapted into a high school or middle school play.
Yeah.
It's about
because.
it's like about time, kind of. It's very existential.
Yeah, it's very existential. I thought it was, I mean...
Isn't there a
rigmarole, I think, was a word that I used. Oh, yeah, there's the
Doggo
dog
with a clock in its
claw.
body.
That's on the book.
Dog clock.
Then, not to brag, but I was Glinda.
What?
In
Rainie?
Wizard of Oz, you were the good witch.
Yeah, and so...
Give us your Glinda voice.
Wait, was this Wicked or was this...
No, it was The Wizard of Oz with a twist, parentheses, And so we did some songs from, like, The Wizard of Oz, some songs from The Wiz, some songs from Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
It was fine.
We go, just hold on 1 second.
No, I think that needs no explaining.
You weren't Wicked, Glinda. Was this pre-Wicked?
No,
it couldn't have been.
this was the OG Wizard of Oz with the twist, parentheses,
Was everyone bummed it wasn't Wicked?
I mean, I was.
Yes,
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
Right.
But it was probably
Way
more
worse.
popular to see because of Wicked anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
I was in a production of Wizard of Oz. I was a Scarecrow, obviously.
Wow.
Quite obviously, I was a Scarecrow.
Okay, wait. If the four of us were hanging out with Dorothy, who'd be who?
Wow.
And Toto, I guess.
I would
Wait,
probably...
aren't there four of them, or am I making it?
no, you're
three
right.
and Toto.
Well, you'd be Dorothy, unfortunately.
Wait,
I'm
Dorothy's
the star.
Dorothy is kind of. Well, no, there's three people that hang with Dorothy.
Yeah.
so it's the Tin Man, the Lion, and the
the
Scarecrow.
The witch
why,
in the wardrobe.
why is Dorothy unfortunately?
What do you mean, unfortunately?
I actually think that Zach's more of a Dorothy, to be totally honest.
Maybe you're right.
TBH. Agreed.
Yeah,
I think
You're
Zach's
trying to
more of
find
a
your way back
Dorothy.
home.
I think he's unfortunately because Dorothy's like, I don't know, she doesn't get other than the Somewhere Over the Rainbow song.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
kind of boring, and all she's doing
You would
is
say
like,
that, you scarecrow fuck.
What are their
Whoa.
little things they need? Cowardly lion.
Courage.
he needs courage.
What does Tin Man need?
Heart.
Heart. Scarecrow needs a brain.
I'm diagnosing all of you. I'm just forgetting what their
Tin Man
personalities
needs
are.
a heart. But the subtext is when you watch the musical that the Tin Man obviously has a heart. He's the most emotionally driven.
Yeah.
Scarecrow is the smartest, but he feels like he needs a brain.
Yeah.
The Cowardly Lion actually does have courage. Now they take that out of the movie. In the book, he actually does exemplify more courage. I read the book recently. It sucks. It is the most boring piece of garbage imaginable. Frank Oz is not a good writer. And
His name is Frank Oz.
yeah.
Did he
The
change
writer?
his name or did
Isn't
he
it?
name
I
the
thought it was
land
C.S.
after
Lewis or
himself?
something.
C.S. Lewis?
Yeah, and you're thinking.
You're confusing because it's Wizard of
You're right.
Oz.
You're right. Why did I say that? Just cut that. Don't make me.
We're leaving it in.
No. You're right. C.S. Lewis. Frank Baum.
We have a whole research team over here.
Frank Baum and Frank Oz is a much more excusable offense. Therefore, leave it in.
And just for the record, we just want to say, Frank Baum, we apologize. You, Frank Baum, are a piece of shit writer.
That's right.
So-
That's right.
Look,
Just so we have that
I
record.
challenge you to read that book and not fall asleep so many times.
Yeah.
Well, this is sort of like the unanswerable question. Have you heard of this? Where it's, what's your question that plays over and over in your mind? And usually the people whose like unanswerable question, am I smart enough? They're the smartest people. They're
Okay, that's mine.
the PhD people, candidates.
Hey, you're Dorothy.
Dibs.
You
Dorothy,
are
bro.
Dorothy.
No, my question. I always ask myself if I'm smart enough because I'm so smart.
Really?
You're Dorothy, and
Yeah,
And I actually, what I ask myself in my head is, are you smart and hot and lovely enough?
So you're all of them. Zach gets to be all of them.
I mean, those are your words,
That's
not mine.
Dorothy.
And that is. Well, by the way, you said you were the Scarecrow. Obviously, why do you feel like such a Scarecrow?
well, especially in high school, I was like ganglier.
Yeah.
And the Scarecrow is a very physical comedy. I mean, both Scarecrow and they're all physical comedians in that show because the Tin Man has to be rigid and like walk
Yeah.
like a robot. The Scarecrow is falling down all the time.
I
She
don't even
doesn't
know why
have,
we're
like,
even
bones.
pretending to guess who's who. It's so odd.
Okay, go
Wait,
ahead,
so
go ahead,
you
go
say,
ahead.
well, let's all say it all at once.
Okay.
And we'll-
For my,
Okay, so
wait,
how
Okay, for which
Okay.
one is left between Tin Man and Cowardly Lion?
No. So Zach is Dorothy. So then now we do Keith. And on 3, what do you think he is?
1, 2, 3.
Three.
Tin
Scarecrow.
Man. Oh,
What
What did you
Tin
say?
Man?
yeah, I said Tin Man.
Yeah, I'm very emotionally sweet.
Also, Tin Man is good. But then what's left
Actually,
over?
you
'Cause
know
to
what?
me, and I keep coming back
Revise. Tin Man.
I
Tin
keep
Man.
coming back to lion for any, but the hair is throwing me because it's like almost
Me?
like lion
Well,
colored hair.
in the Wizard of Oz with twist parentheses, the lion was given to this girl who had lion hair and she had no other talents. Sorry if
yeah.
you know who I'm talking about. I do apologize. She's fine. She was nice enough. She was actually kind of.
Go to her page, fucking block her.
Honestly, you to call her out and then immediately go back on it makes you feel like the cowardly lion to me.
Yeah, exactly. Which I guess leads me to be what? Toto?
No, you're either Tin Man or a Scarecrow.
Yeah,
I
you're
think
a Scarecrow.
you'd have made a great Scarecrow as well. Because
you.
the Scarecrow, you have to be a physical comedian. I'm sure you were, especially in high school.
Oh my god.
Right?
John Roberti's mostly legs.
Yeah.
And
Ryan
hips.
Garcia was the Tin Man.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
I'm gonna
great.
tell you where I'm sitting. Miles got a lion ass face. That is a
That's
that is a
true.
lion man if I've ever seen one. Look, he's got a mane. Look
Yeah.
at him. That's a Courage Cowardly Lion.
Yeah, I can do it.
Rainey wants to make a podcast called Make Out with Me. She's always talking about looking for love. That's Heart.
That's true.
Oh, that's a great
That's
point.
true.
That's a good point.
That's a great
That's-
point.
Or Glinda.
Well, that's what my
Yeah,
could also be.
Lily
The
saw.
Witch.
The Good Witch. And,
And
by
look
the way,
at Keith's like beard. That's basically a little straw coming
Yeah.
poking out of him.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
it's pretty easy to typecast on this.
Yeah, from this group.
I
Yeah.
fell on my butt so much in that show that I actually brought big fat sponges that I put in my back pockets so that I wouldn't hurt my butt.
What are you talking
That's
about?
so funny.
Big fat sponges.
I'm not kidding. Big
in your
fat- In
back
your
cheeks?
pocket.
In my back pockets. I was wearing cargo pants at the time because
Of course you were.
because it was me, and so there were big old pockets, and I wore knee pads and I wore
Wow,
butt
Keith
pads
wore
so that I
cargo
could like
pants?
really fall hard and
What are-
hilarious.
what are-
Because were you like, woo? Like,
Oh yeah,
doing a big dive.
I would do big
Yeah.
comedic dives, and I would constantly like get up and fall right back down.
Yeah.
Very silly.
What are butt pads and where does one buy those?
I bought them from an auto, I think an AutoZone. They were big sponges for like washing cars. They were really thick.
Oh, yeah.
Sponges.
Those look so foamy. I always think about them when they're
They
doing
were
like, a
pretty
car
good.
I go,
what do you think about?
I was like, what a big fucking sponge. That
Yeah.
sounds fun, man.
Yeah.
You probably do a lot of washing with that.
Yeah.
Love to
Probably
get
a
a
lot
hug
of
on that.
washing. Yeah. Well, Keith, what was
Sorry.
You ever see a big juicy sponge and think,
Yeah,
wow, I'd
hug
love
on
to
that.
hug that.
Hug that?
Hug that.
Hug that.
We were
guys
saying what
think
you
of
were
that?
thinking.
Yeah. Go ahead, Randy. Sorry.
wait, who's
Sorry,
your
Miles just had like a weird thought about hugging sponges. That
I
disrupted
did
the
not
thought,
say
so.
anything about that.
I'm just looking for the drama. I'm on the hunt. Keith, you said you got a showmance.
Oh, did I have a showmance?
She's always drama
Drama
hunting.
from 27 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I there
How
was-
old do you think Keith
He's
is?
50. No.
There was definitely like in college a couple like free stage shows. They were like small shows, and I was in it. Like, yeah, maybe I do kind of.
And you
like
kissed
this
them on
person.
stage, and then you were like, oh, wait.
I was like, yeah. I first of all, this girl's very smart. She's very pretty. I liked her. She wasn't really my type, but the thought crossed my
Interesting.
mind. I was like, maybe we could go on dates. She's very nice. She's
Yeah.
very sweet. There's like, no reason I couldn't. But it just didn't work out.
It has the same energy of when a server and a line cook
Oh, yeah.
sort of have
and a linebacker.
server and a linebacker fall in love. It's like your proximity is like one of
Yeah.
the main things
Yes,
that bring you
totally.
together.
I mean-
so you're like doing theater with them every day or whatever. Yeah.
Especially like the theater because you're doing like stretches and warm ups. You're getting changed together backstage.
Yeah.
And you're in high school, so your like emotions are high. Like romances are totally a thing,
Yeah.
especially in high school and college.
Sure.
Did you have? You never had much.
The end of the podcast.
Anybody?
Sure.
Well, thanks, everybody.
The fucking credits.
Da, da. Sure.
I was also recorded. I had one, Thoroughly Modern Millie, the guy who played Jimmy, both casts. Both casts were hot.
This isn't a show, man. Both of these guys were tense. I'm here to tell you. You're saying that you okay. What did you play in Thoroughly Modern Millie? I don't actually know the show that well.
I played stenographer number 5.
Stenographer. So you were fucking ensemble, and you're here to say that the two guys who played Billy,
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Stenographer number 5 ain't never gonna be with the Jimmy.
If you're an ensemble, I just want you to know that you are seen, and there is a fucking cure. You
There
will
are
get
no
out of this.
small
Yes,
Honestly, being an ensemble can be a blessing
it can be
because sometimes like it's fun to be the lead, but also it's a lot of lines and a lot of work. An ensemble gets to have a lot of fun and
Still gets to go to the cast party.
Gets to go to the cast party.
Those are the people getting the littest at the cast party.
Yeah. And you get to find your little moment. That's your like star moment. Like you get one line.
Yeah.
You get to have one, and if you can make it hit.
Oh, you're the star. At the end, people are like, "Oh my god, I loved your thing."
Oh, you stole the show. You stole the show.
The feeling of someone saying that in high school is like I fucking would carry that with me for months.
Oh yeah.
I stole the show.
You come out and like you're like still in your half makeup and you get your little flowers from your
Thank
grandma
you. Yes.
and then someone else's dad comes up and be like, "You were my favorite." And you go,
And you rush to change backstage so you can get out to get some goddamn thanks for what you did.
So bad. You're like, "Oh my god, my family's gonna leave."
"Hi, Mom, can you take these flowers home for me? We're all going to PF Chang's."
We went to Steak and Shake.
We all went to Cookout in the
IHOP.
parking lot. IHOP is good though for guests.
A diner is
We
the
went
right
to a
choice.
diner. We went to a diner.
We were like
Diner's right
outside
choice.
parking lot. Everyone by their cars getting a milkshake and a hush
Yeah.
puppy.
Oh, they have hush puppies?
At Cookout.
Really?
Yeah, Cookout rules.
Not
dude.
a lot of places have hush puppies.
Eat the menu Cookout's not a bad idea, but it is southern and specific.
Never heard of
Rallies is the West Coast counterpart. I
Oh,
believe.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a flash in my mind of not exactly a showmance, but showmance adjacent, and I want to deliver
me?
the piping tea that Rainie so desires.
Here we go, Zach.
Freshman year. Oh no, I hate that Jonathan turned.
Jonathan, his
turned
interest was
his
peaked.
body.
I have to say, Zach, you often come through with a little, like, I feel like you're sort of like a player when you're younger.
Don't you do this to me. Don't you do this to me. So
Zach was getting it with every ensemble member.
I'm not a player. I just play one on stage.
And by getting it, I mean just winking at every girl and never holding hands with them.
look, did I have showmances? Absolutely. This wasn't the story I was going to tell. I mean, drama club, yeah, you had your little show. Like, I had my onstage kiss, and that was very exciting. And then we, like, went backstage, and we practiced before the audition, because we're like, if we practice, then we're going to...
Before you even got the part?
Yeah! Because it was for the audition. We're like, if we kiss during the audition,
This is such
it's
a hustle.
ours. It's fucking ours.
Did it work?
Yeah!
They had chemistry. They just kissed, and they didn't even plan it.
It wasn't even the scene for
And
it.
it led to a wee little baby Rose.
Hello, Scarecrow. Oh.
Hey,
Totally
this is not
unrelated
in the role.
Guys, you gotta get that out.
I guess Dorothy and Tin Man get it on. I don't know.
Weird. I've never heard that. part.
So freshman year of college, I
we
was
go.
making films, and I like short films, and I did an audition.
Short,
and
hot films.
there was
hot little.
it was down to 2 finalists, and one girl was clearly so much better for the part, and the other one was someone I had a crush on. And I like had this
Wow.
Hollywood. This is bad.
So listen, no, and so I had this existential crisis. And I was telling my friends, like, I can't be that guy. I'm just wielding
God.
my directorial power. I feel so bad, and so I told her, and I was like, I can't. Like,
You told who? Which one?
the person that I wanted to, that I liked, and I was like, look, the other person was better.
weren't good enough?
And and then she was like, it's fine, we can just hook up. That's cool. And I'm like, oh, okay, great.
What?
You as a hookup strategy said, hey, by the way, you weren't good enough to be cast in my awesome short film, but I'd still like to French you after fucking Spanish
Well, maybe
201.
he said it more like, it's so close between the two of you, but I like you and I feel like it's wrong. And I don't want to cast you in this short film. I want to cast you in this long movie that is my life.
That's
like
what I
that.
think I did something like
That's
that.
hot. Yeah, that's
I
hot.
felt very guilty about it, but it worked out.
And you
Yeah.
guys went to Chipotle and
Yeah, probably.
Went to the dining center.
to the dining center.
And let me swipe for you, baby.
I'll get you in. I've got unlimited credits, baby. I grew up in Westchester.
My parents bought the big plan. my dollars roll over semester. So
I got the max plan.
My meal plan rolls over.
I did in college think I had like one of the lower plans, and I thought that the plan that I bought for the semester was supposed to be for the whole year. So I was like starving
Holy
myself.
shit.
I was like, I can't afford food. And then when it rolled over to the next semester, I was like, I'm rich. And I was like, I'll take anyone anywhere, baby. I've got so much dining credits because I was starving myself. I was eating like peanut butter bread in my dorm. So I thought,
I'll just rub these 2 credits together and get a breakfast.
I was like, I can't have breakfast. That's too expensive. I can have lunch and dinner. And I'll have, and
So
sometimes I will just eat like popcorn in my room.
Who told you just got the math wrong?
I just got it wrong. I just like looked at it and I was like, because it said like freshman credits. And I was like this. I was like, oh fuck, that's not very
Whole
many.
year.
No, that's not
One
good.
meal every week. My parents really set me up.
I know. And I also didn't even say anything. I was like, this is probably normal. Maybe I should be eating less.
This is college, man. This is college.
I didn't have a job, so I was
Yeah,
like,
right.
let me stretch it.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
Well, Zach, that's another story of you being a player, is what I'll say.
Yeah, it's
about
true.
that.
Zach's a dog, man.
You know what he is? A regular Romeo.
Yeah,
There we go.
Romeo through and through.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun show. I hope you all get tickets to see it. And again, if you can't see it on the night of, you can see it after the night as well.
That's right.
Very interactive. Huey Stonefish is going to be doing live scoring.
Oh, wow.
That
that's
will be
sick. I didn't know
improvised
that.
as well, and also in sort of it'll be decided by what you vote on. Because if you vote on a crazy element to the show, he's going to have to change the music to match.
It was something we learned we learned a ton from the first live stream we did, and it was really great. But watching it back, we're like, there's dead air, like sound. Like scoring is so important to our videos. So even when we do our next Without a Recipe live, if we do that, instead of having Devlin live doing graphics, he'll be doing live scoring. Well, for this, we want theatrical scoring. What's more fun than having a piano player?
And he'll be on stage and sometimes even doing some like of the small roles, because we need like lines here and there to create action. So sometimes Huey will be acting as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Fun little stuff. It's going to be really fun production. Did any of you ever do Shakespeare?
I did scenes from Shakespeare
Right.
for classes, and that was like, I didn't do that many plays in college, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like, I did a lot of performing, like a ton of improv. I did this thing called 30 Plays in 60 Minutes, which is like the Neo
Oh,
Futures
yeah.
thing. Really liked that. Did that for like 3 years running. Like, we did a ton, but I never did, because I did all this other stuff, I never had time to do like a play.
I did Complete Works Abridged,
Oh, wow.
which
That's
was so
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we did it with 5 people instead of 3. Were you helping with that at all? Yeah. Erica.
Erica. Huge shout
Erica
out.
and I went to college together.
Yeah.
Erica was, doing what she does for us now, but for theater.
But in college, yeah.
And it was a really fun production. We made it very stupid. It made it even dumber than it already was. But then I also was in 12th Night, and I played Sir Andrew, which, if you just know who that part is, Sir Andrew is a sort of idiot who thinks very highly of himself and is pretty much unimportant. I was that character. Had a great time. Playing myself in a Shakespeare show, basically.
That's great. No, I think that like when you see Shakespeare really intimidated me, especially in high school.
Yeah.
You know,
even now.
yeah,
It was intimidating to us, and only after practicing do you get less intimidated.
And I will say, like, the one thing that unlocked it a little bit for me was seeing videos of people who are so good at Shakespeare perform Shakespeare. Like,
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned this on this show before, but the guy who was in the priest from Fleabag has done a ton of Shakespeare, and his clips are like, I'm like, oh, this is so legible. This is just how people talk. It like makes sense. Like, you get the verse. Which I think that, like, if you aren't necessarily aware about how to dictate what's being dictated, you don't know what the emphasis should be on, so you don't really know what they're saying.
Yep.
I'm rolling through
Yeah,
my
that guy
script right
saw it.
now because I wrote, like, I've been annotating it, and this is the third color, because we've been doing script revisions and finding like, oh, we don't need this line, oh, we do need this line. This is our own adaptation, right? But so I've been trying to
So you're rewriting the works of Shakespeare.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're just making
We had to abridge
clever
it.
edits.
So we abridged it, and then we have I forget how many interstitials, but we called on well, by now it'll be announced, right? So we called on a ton of our favorite YouTubers to help narrate the story.
Oh, cool.
And so the whole thing is framed by being like an internet feud.
Oh,
it's
that's
internet drama,
great,
you know,
yeah.
the Capulets and the Montagues, and like it begins with I guess like a tweet of a very famous person being like, oh shit, you hear about this? And we have this whole like splashy reel where it's like Phil DeFranco breaking the news and Rhett and Link talking about like
Phil, that's great.
like Phil or like Rhett and Link being like, you hear about this Romeo fella? And so like, but then so it takes place in the internet, right? But then each interstitial is in the style of a different person's video. So we have Shane and Ryan on the Ghost File set. We have Rhett and Link. We have Sam Reich doing a Game Changer game show.
So
we
sick.
have so many people. Rosanna Pansino baking cupcakes to make the audience feel better when it gets sad. Sophia, we have just this huge all-star cast, which is really fun and helps the whole thing feel so alive and big.
Also allows us to take some jumps between scenes, right? Because there's characters we don't have that we're playing, or scenes that like are too long and we're doing a truncated version, but by truncating it leaves out this important thing. So we're just putting that important thing in the interstitials so that you know the whole story, although we're really focusing in on specifically little parts of it. And obviously the Romeo and Juliet scenes are pretty much all there.
Yeah.
And the Mercutio monologue, the Queen Mab monologue, which is so famous, is there. We're trying to keep all the things you really want to see.
Yep.
But also keep it at like 2 hours, 2:15, and to have the whole show, with all those things would be too long.
Yeah.
But so you were saying, like, how do you make this archaic text feel alive? And we had to go through and annotate and like translate for ourselves so that we can perform in a way that it's clear and obvious to the audience. I mean, this is a very small example, but I have a line, "This but begins the woe, others must end." And when we were reading, we're like, "Oh, I'm others."
Right.
Which is not how any person would say that. It's a very small example, but I my whole script is marked up with understanding if I were to say this in modern, like sometimes I just wrote, it's like the line is, "No, you silly goose." I wrote
That's great. Yeah.
and so like I know that that's what I'm saying, and if I say that, but I'm saying Shakespearean talk, you will understand the emotion of what I'm saying.
Interesting.
And some are just really fucking clunky little mouthfuls.
Yeah.
For sure. It's like
And
a tongue twister.
It's
constantly.
really hard, and it's hard to remember if you're saying hast or have, or if you're
So many haths.
And sometimes, and you like, if you know about Shakespeare, everything's 10 syllables. Almost everything is 10 syllables, and the even number syllables have emphasis most of the time. And like doing it, that tells you how you pronounce some words.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's Romeo, but sometimes it's Romeo. To make the 10 syllables work and to make the other like.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, so you have to
Romeo.
really know when it's and
Good luck
Juliet's
remembering
the
that
same
when
way
I'm
too.
slapping you.
Juliet, like Juliet or Juliet. Almost always it's Romeo, but there are occasional times where it's Romeo. Like you,
With
and that
three
when
syllables.
and when it is 3 syllables, it's like we're really singing that whole song. Whereas if you're like, but Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?
Romeo.
So it's
Romeo.
it's a 2 syllable.
Romeo.
Yeah.
It's really
Romeo.
fascinating.
Yeah.
One thing I love is one of our actresses is playing Lady Capulet as like a Southern mother, and Old English and the Southern accent are actually pretty close.
Yeah.
And it feels so natural. Like her lines are like, "Oh wow, this is just how it's meant to sound." It's great.
Wow.
It's really funny.
Jack, can I get a fact check on that?
The old
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack.
Old English and Southern. It is true.
I know it is. I just wanted him to say yeah.
The British dialect became the Southern dialect.
We're also at an hour, so we can do the last segment.
Oh, yes.
What's the last segment? It's a good question.
I
What do you
can't
mean?
tee it- well, I can't tee it up.
What do you mean?
Well,
Gosh.
Wait, I thought we were gonna like explore the office and go get snacks and.
we are at an hour, unfortunately.
Strange. Gosh, if only we had had some sort of guidance or advice
Yeah.
halfway through that could have gotten us back on track. But I don't have any advice. The only person
You're
I
talking
know
about on track Terry.
on track Jack.
No way he comes out from the ladder again.
I've been here the whole time.
And now it's time for some advice that'll go for miles with your friend and yours, Miles Bonsignore.
It's advice that'll go for miles. Tune it to your radio station. It's advice that'll go for miles. Everyone get ready, Miles Nation. Miles Nation, go. It's advice that'll go for miles. Advice that'll go for miles.
Guess who's back? What the fuck is up, Miles Nation? How's everybody doing today? Can I get a yeah?
Yeah.
Don't you forget about me.
Great song. Great song.
I've been wanting to be free.
Oh,
Yeah.
like
Have you ever wanted to be full of wind?
like gas?
Have you ever wanted to sail the 7 seas like Captain Blackbird?
Yeah.
Yes, Miles. Yes.
I'm telling you to use your big ass brain like Albert fucking Einstein.
Oh, I loved him in the movie.
Or in what movie? I didn't see it, Zach, because we're on strike.
They didn't call for a boycott.
Or to well, I mean we can't mention what
Right, of
it
course.
is. Yeah, right. No, you can see it, but I can't talk
You can't
about
tell anyone you saw it.
it. Yeah.
Keep it to your fucking self.
Guess who has a big brain? Probably Susan Sarandon.
Yeah,
Weren't
we
expecting
love her
that.
brain.
But also me, because I've been thinking about getting a bicycle.
Woo! Numtot.
Albert Einstein rode a bicycle.
Huh?
Albert Einstein rode a bicycle.
Basically, Albert Einstein did it, and that's good enough for me. But I've been thinking about getting back into the bike life, because I'm actually wheels up in my neighborhood, I hope.
Your
neighborhood
neighborhood
does
has a
not
lot
feel
of
very
hills.
No, it's
Yeah.
really hilly. But I used to ride a bicycle when I was a theater maven in college, and now I'm thinking about doing it
Did you say you
again.
did almost no shows in college?
That's that's one interpretation of what I said. I did a lot of stuff in theaters, but I didn't do a play or a musical. I did one play, and it was written by a guy that was at the college, and I played an Italian landlord.
You
and I
can't say
went-
the title because of the strike.
It's not. Nope, you can definitely say the title. Certainly a non-union production. But yeah.
Do you want to borrow my
anyway.
bike?
Huh?
Do you want to borrow my bike?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Come on, where's the rent?
The rent or the went? What did you say? What word did you say?
Come on, I can't wait all day for you for the rent. It was like sort of like that.
That was pretty good. I like.
Come on, you're killing me.
That was pretty good.
Crazy.
I liked it. I think,
You like it in it?
I like it.
But basically, I want to sort of be like I was
You could
in
be
college.
Kaneki or something with that.
I could be who?
In Greece.
Oh,
Kaneki.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Grease, one of the best musicals.
Yeah.
Can't talk about the movie, but I.
We were talking about the stage
We're
play.
talking about the stage performance.
Stage musical, not the movie musical.
Basically, I just want to
Olivia
get
Newton-Who.
back into a bicycle, or maybe I'll buy a longboard.
Same.
I just am sort of thanks, Jack. I just sort of am in the mood that I want to be
Yeah.
freely,
No,
but I don't want to
yeah.
get a bird scooter because I have to pay all freaking.
What about a normal scooter? Like your own?
Get a razor.
I would get a boosted board,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
that
yeah.
feels a little scary.
What about one of those weird like mono wheels?
those? Feel
Those
also
don't
like I'm going to
seem so
kill
scary.
myself. On
People
the
are
fucking
ripping
sidewalk.
around town on those.
But
It's
ripping, it's like
unreal.
you hit a pebble and your skull is done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you wear a helmet.
Yeah, baby.
I like sitting over here. I feel like I'm kind of a sidekick.
We
It's
can't.
fun.
Well,
It's
you-
like it's like I'm seeing you. It's like I'm seeing you through a window because of the curtains.
yeah, it is a little bit like, wow, where's Zach? He's gone now. He's over. He's ours. He
What
belongs
light
there.
through yonder window breaks?
It is to the east, and Juliet is the sun.
All right, well, don't fucking upstage me, bro.
Sorry. Look, I'm a thespian. I can't handle myself sometimes.
If they hear you do that monologue, they're gonna be disappointed when they hear me do the monologue.
It's true.
That's right. Because I'm gonna fucking be. I'm gonna say right as you do it in the live stream, I'm gonna do a video of me doing it. Put it right on my
You're
Pinterest.
gonna just say the lines verbatim with him.
yeah, exactly.
Wait, can I tell you actually though that part of the play stresses me out almost more than anything else because everyone and their mother knows what light through yonder window breaks. Like we all know that, and we've
Yeah.
heard it, and we've heard it in our head. And I'm like, how do I say that real?
It is hard to say it in a way that is good and also like unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have parting is such sweet sorrow.
Yeah.
I have a rose which we call any other name would still smell as sweet.
Yeah.
The
Like,
lines
there's
are
like,
almost too iconic.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny
You
thy
almost
father
have
and
to,
refuse
like-
thy name, or if that will not,
Yeah.
be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet.
Keith is a bad.
Keith's off book.
I'm
Keith's off book.
close. I'm getting
Keith's
there.
off
There's a
book.
lot. There's a lot I have not memorized, but the first scenes, I'm pretty good.
You almost have to throw them away because it's like if you put too much.
That's why I
You
feel
know
like
which
Zach's,
ones you
yeah.
get.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it's like Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. Right? It's like
Someone got chills, and it was me.
you gotta like put so many ups and downs in the language to make it understandable.
No, totally.
I've definitely been debating back and forth.
He's coming back.
he's
Here he
coming,
comes.
he's coming back. Here he comes.
Here it comes.
If I want to, we were talking about this today. Like, I can do some lines, just like me talking like this.
Yeah.
But also every time I read any Shakespeare, I'm tempted to talk like this.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you kind of enter into not British accent, but like goofy
Yeah.
High English.
high English.
English.
And depending on what scene, it feels different.
Dumb.
Like even like when you first meet Romeo.
I guess they're saying all this in a British accent because Shakespeare was from Britain.
Yeah, but we're not.
They were.
They were.
And there's a quote.
The Shakespeare was from England. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening to the TryPod.
Are we done?
Well, I want to hear what you have to say about
give us a
what
couple
you're doing. You're
monologues.
clearly doing
Give us a couple
something
monologues.
excited. I
Doing
want to hear what
research.
it is, and then we're going to end, Zach. Don't get self-conscious. I
No,
want you to
I-
open your little book. I want to see it.
We can't wait to see you all tonight for the Romeo and Juliet. Try Guys present Choose Your Own Shakespeare. It's going to be a great time. We're all working very hard, and we hope you enjoy. Doing these big projects, it's something that we really love doing. The whole team, I think. I won't speak for them.
We just cut to that angle. No one's at the table. They've all left.
But you know, and I know it sucks to do this as a ticketed event. It doesn't mean everyone can come, but it allows us to put a real investment on it and make the kind of content that we wouldn't be able to otherwise. So we appreciate you supporting it. We hope you can join. We really are working hard to make sure we deliver on it and then some. It's gonna be a great time.
What's the last word in the play?
Than this of her Juliet and her
Romeo.
Romeo.
That's it?
Mm-hmm. Never was there a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo. Something- I think
It's a great
I
line.
might have lost a word in there, but
Honestly,
I don't say that line.
Honestly,
so.
I got chills and you just threw it away.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Wait, I interrupted you. Did you have one more thing?
Well, I was going to say,
For
if Zach
never.
calls for a line, the whole show's free. So
Everyone else is allowed to, but if I do it, you get all your money back.
What are you going to do if you forget a line?
Fucking
Call line.
panic.
call line. There's someone on book.
Oh, you're
Because
really
it's-
going to call line?
Well, because
You-
if
you're not going to
these
make it up?
variables fuck us up so much,
Yeah, it's too.
we really just need to get back on track.
Yeah.
A hope is that you'll be able to sort of call for line when the camera's not on you.
That's
Be
a good
like,
point.
What is helpful is that because it is, it's all rhymes and couplets and all that, and iambic pentameter. Which,
nice.
It has made the memorization easier. Not that I'm nowhere near Keith yet, but like if you remember the beginning of a line, you're like, oh, it's gonna end this. Like your brain just kind of fills in the rhymes. Anyway, okay, cool. Have a good ass week.
Keith, it is for the TryPod theme song.
Romeo and Juliet, they're in love. Love, love, love. But they're not allowed to be in love. No, 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 no. A lot of people get murdered in the street, and the prince gets very mad. A lot of blood is shed for thee, and you think that you should be glad, but you can't be. Oh, it's Romeo and Juliet. They are now dead. They died in a tomb with Tybalt. Bum, 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 bum. It's the TryPod.
Have a good ass week.
Louder, Larry.